Good evening, everyone. When Formula One landed in Austria in the 1970s in the circuit that was formerly known as the Österreichring, the drivers used to tackle a whole set of sweeping and flowing corners. It was gone down in history as being one of the greatest driver circuits in F1 history. But of course, Austria has always had a bit of a checkered past with the principal motorsport discipline of the world. It disappeared for 10 years in the 80s due to some irregularities and safety concerns. It came back in 1997 as the A1 ring for a short stint and has now been a mainstay of the calendar after its recent exodus since 2014. And tonight, we've decided to drive around it in the entirely wrong way. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator for Tier 1, back this week in replacement of Jordan, who me and him will be back for round 4. And, well, 10 corners, but the wrong way round. It's a circuit that drivers have been trying to get to grips with, of the 11 who will be starting shortly. I'm delighted to say that joining me inside the commentary box for this wonderful mad evening that we're going to have in front of us is YB Maris. YB, how are you today?
All right, Jack. Right. Looking forward to this one-off of Austria in reverse. These drivers will not have as much practice as they usually would in Austria the normal way around, so it's going to be one hell of a race.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, isn't it? It's really going to be an interesting race that's going to throw up a lot of different dividends from what we'd normally expect. And I'm sure that some of you will be wondering, well, why are you doing this now? You know, why is it season 23 that we've decided to do something just a little bit different? Okay, so we're going to get started in just a moment's time. There's a few people who are asking for invites, so that's what we're kind of waiting on here, because of course we want to make sure we get as many drivers in as possible for this evening. Now, YB, you were telling me before the stream started that you've commentated on this version of this circuit before in a former league race. Obviously for IRL, it's the first time we've ventured into this territory. What can we expect from 10 corners the wrong way round?
Honestly, just to keep it short, absolutely chaos. You might get a couple of issues with tires. You might get with brakes as well, how hot they might be. But I think with the drivers not knowing mostly where the braking zone is half the time, you will just see crashes, people going straight into the wall. So you will see a lot of chaos tonight.
Well, chaos incarnate. That's what we are waiting to see whether that works or not. Now, what we're waiting on at the moment is for Nath to come through. He's the 12th driver who will be battling it out this evening. Maybe even Björn de Boer will make it 13, who will be commentating, of course, for Tier 2 tomorrow. And I am going to find this quite challenging, ladies and gentlemen, because I've done a lot of commentary over the years. It's something that I really do enjoy. It's really engaging, especially following the Formula One calendar, and of course lights out this weekend at Australia. But this is a new setting for me. I reckon I've turned about 3 or 4 laps around the reverse variant of the circuit. I know how the track flows normally, so I think it's going to be taking a little bit of adjustment. Turns 9 and 10, for example, are 1 and 2. I don't think Jock and Rindt will have ever expected us to have gone the other way around, but there we are. Okay, now I'm just going to send an invite through, but for you, YB, I know you've commentated, have you driven much in the way of around this circuit previously?
No, not as much. It's very, very difficult to kind of get into the flow with Austria Reverse. I've done, say, maybe 3 to 5 laps in total with Austria Reverse, but I still can't get the flow right, so it is very difficult.
Yeah, it will be difficult. YB, are you're watching this through Xbox, aren't you, at the moment?
Yes, let me see if I quickly got speaking.
Yeah, I was going to say if you could potentially send Pars an invite, that would be fantastic, so that we can get things going. I think it's because there's some form of conflict between PSN and Xbox, but we will get there. We will get there.
Don't think I have him added.
Let's have a look at the comments at the moment. Walker's Girls Able saying looking forward to racing this track tomorrow. Of course, within the battle for Tier 2. ARL saying hello. All's good for ARL at the moment. His house is still in one piece. I'm kind of not joking about that either as well. I'm making light of it, but I know that the situation where he is living right now is very, very sketchy. Good to see you. It's the cat. Good to see you back for tomorrow. Should be good action in tier number 2. Björn saying he's got some updates. So we're going to try and figure this out as we go along. We will do our absolute best to sort this out. But we are going to be going into qualifying. Now, I was saying to YB before, ladies and gentlemen, I really sincerely hope it's raining. It would just add a whole new level of complex layers to this race this evening. It would be absolutely astounding to see. Whether that will happen, we don't know. Because we've not yet loaded in. We've got about 20 odd seconds to go before we do. We know that Björn is coming in. We also know that hopefully we can get Nath in too. I know that at the moment YB is trying to sort that out. It's the cat saying, hope it doesn't rain. I do. I do for whilst I'm watching. Maybe not whilst I'm out there. But of course, we're at round 3 now. You know, we are effectively past the quarter distance mark of season 23. And we've had a lot of good races so far in Tier 1 and Tier 2, despite... And it's raining! What did I say?
Oh, no.
What did I say? It was going to rain,
no.
and it's happened! It has actually happened!
It's just qualifying for now, so we might see clear weather.
That is astonishing. We don't know what the race forecast is, and you know, YB's right. You know, it could actually be dry for the main race, but my goodness me, that would be astounding if we ended up having that. We'll have to wait and see whether that's going to happen. I'm just looking to see the comments coming through. It's the cat also saying, oh my god, please don't rain. Matty Wood's having a great time. Okay, Maris, yeah, so you just so you know, YB, Nate's just messaged you, there you go, so hopefully you'll be able to invite him. I'm also inviting Björn in as well, so that we've got 13 drivers for this evening. I do genuinely think that there are a number of people who have swerved a little bit tonight because they are terrified of doing this track and reverse. No one has gone out yet.
I'm not surprised.
Would you not want to get out there as soon as possible and just run some laps?
No, I think especially with raining and in a circuit, I wouldn't know as much. I'd try to delay it as much as possible.
We've got Björn who has just joined. That's an Alpine going out. It's Nitrogash. He's the first one going out. I'm going to put us on board. Whoa, as he slides out. That's going to be a tricky pit lane to come out of. So into turn 2. And he's gone across the white line. We're not going to have a go at him for that on opening. And I just make a point here, YB. Whilst you see what this is like, I'm not going to talk us through a lap on board of Nitro because that wouldn't be right as he's getting up to speed. But there are some drivers on the intermediates and some on the wets.
That is a bit of a shocker, right? Because it does look like it is raining, but we might be getting slightly a little bit less raining.
Yeah, perhaps we are. Milo is on the intermediates. Ginger Tiger's on the intermediates. He's joined in from Tier 2 this evening. SFR Matty is on the intermediate tyre. And it looks like Owen's also selected. We've got Björn in. we're hopeful that Nath has got the invite. If you're wondering who Nath is, that's Pars in the Red Bull. He's having a really good championship so far. And we also have up promoted from Tier 2 from last week is the War Islander. Now, you might remember, for those that have been watching the Tier 2 streams, the War Islander has had 2 astonishing Tier 2 victories. But by such a margin that it would be unfair for him to carry on within Tier 2. And credit to him, he actually came out, was happy with talking with our race director, Mikey, and was just like, yeah, put me in Tier 1. That makes complete sense. So it's really good to have a promotion mid-season as he goes around the final corner. This is brilliant.
Yeah, it is. And other reserve driver for Tier 2, and he's been absolutely winning it, and I'm not surprised he's been pulled up into Tier 1.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really, really nice to see him out on circuit, just coming through what is effectively turn 3 and 4. And he's going to understeer a little bit wide. I think there's going to be a number of drivers this evening who have done a minimal amount of practice, and this is going to catch them out. One driver who... Oh, there's a bit of side-by-side as we go towards what is technically turn 7. And that is Sydney and the other Ferrari of Ruddo just going side-by-side. One driver we do know who has done no practice ever at this circuit is DJ Madman. And he is currently safely in the pits.
I'm not surprised, but then again, even though I'm going to punch myself there, but if I was him, I'd try and get multiple laps in. But if the weather is slowly going away, as to be fair, Ginger Tiger, he sets a 118.1, well, to be honest, on full wets, he set a 119.3.
Now, I am going to say this much as the War Islander pops up to third. We have absolutely no reference as to whether that time from Ginger Tiger is quick or not. Well, there you go. Matty's gone a little bit faster in the Williams.
I think that might be enough proof as it is.
I'm just looking to see who might... Oh, I'm just watching Sydney kicking the car up with oversteer. I think Sydney, YB, will be the driver to go on board with for a qualifying lap, because I think at the minute he's not using any battery, so I think you're going to take us on the first ever Invictus Racing League lap around the reverse variant of Spielberg.
Yeah, he did invalidate his previous lap, so I think he was trying to get ready and get to groove with the circuit. So.
Yeah, he's just sweeping down towards what is turn 10, the final corner on this variant. Very tentative into the braking zone, clips the left-hand side as Ginger Tiger goes faster. Over to you, IB.
He really goes orderly over to turn 10, but as now he's about to cross the line and start his lap, and goes into turn 1, uses a bit of the adds it, Jesus, nearly loses it again, spins. So he's going to continue the lap, and I think he keeps it validated, so he's going to keep going. Now he's going to go into turn 3 as Matty gets... Thing is, so he gets to turn 4. He's doing really well, really losing the back end of that car. Driver's now increasing the time as he goes into turn 5. Still a bit wary. He's not following the dry line, so that could really be what's really hindering him as he goes into turn 6, now 7. He's not applying much of the power now. He's got a bit of traffic up ahead. But that is his own teammate, so he might get a bit of drag up into the thingy. Now he goes into turn 8. This is going to be very difficult for the drivers, but he is taking it nice and slow. Gets eager on the power. Oh! Near enough loses it yet again. Goes down onto the power. He's still going to continue with this lap, but he will have a lot of time to still improve. Now goes into turn 10, the final corner. Doesn't invalidate, so let's see what his time is now as he's about to cross the finishing line, and it will be a...
Well, it'll be a
160.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I was watching that lap and I was expecting Sydney to be P10. But I think that just shows you really the lack of information that is available at this race circuit. So I think there are as he slides his way through, his ash tube now goes a little bit faster in the Racing Bull. So I'm just looking to see. Björn is one of the drivers who's not yet set a time in the Kick Sauber. His brother has just left the session, so I'm going to try and re-invite him back in just so we could sort that out. In addition to that, what I'm also seeing is whether it's possible to try and invite Nath again, if that's possible at all, YB. And I can't seem to get to where I want to be. But despite Madman, ladies and gentlemen, having not turned a lap of this circuit, he's on the 4th row of the grid on a 118.2, and he's giving himself all of the reference points he needs for tomorrow's race.
Impressive. He's only a 10th behind Milo, so that's impressive. That. So I'm not doing a practice lap. He's doing quite all right, actually.
Well, he's out there and he's circulating as he slides the car into turn 8, which is so difficult. The one thing that struck me about driving the reverse circuit, admittedly I've done very minimal laps, is that corner is so tight in the reverse direction as Matty now goes faster on a 1:16.0 into the final corner goes the McLaren driver. It's going to be an improvement from Madman once again, and he goes to 7th. He's only a second and a bit off the provisional pole time. That's really encouraging for Madman.
It is, but I think with the rain slowly going away, I think it's really helping with these intermediates. So I think these times might possibly get even faster and faster as Bjorn's at the fastest lap. So I think these track limits, so these track weather is really helping these drivers.
I wonder if that's because of the cambered nature of the reverse circuit, because of course in the standard track you consistently go downhill, so the cars are the 2025 cars anyway, they're set up with the rake so that the front of the car is lower than the rear of the car, the ride height of the back's higher. Now of course when you do that the other way around of a circuit like we're doing tonight, as Björn slides out of turn 7, what that does is that it pushes the car into the ground and the splitter hits the front a lot more, so you're losing more downforce. So expect to see in the main race, whether it's dry or not, some big slides as Ash goes even faster. Ash Tube is really enjoying these conditions.
Yeah, it really is. This is beat Bjorn by 5/10. So it is really showing that maybe a possibility that these drivers are really loving these conditions. But we could possibly see that we might get really as Bjorn goes even quicker. Wow.
400ths of a second in it. We saw him sliding all over the road. But despite that, we saw it last week actually when he was racing in Tier 1, where it was basically Björn goes Tokyo drifting. He does like to have the car sliding around quite a bit. And thankfully tonight, it seems that car control has not left him. One driver to point out actually, whilst we're here, YB, Ruddo in 7th place. He's actually only done a lap time on the full wet weather tyre. So expect him to, have a huge slide going the wrong way. As Owen goes faster and Pars is in.
Yeah, he managed to fully do it, but yeah, wow, he's managed to save the car, Rodo, which is impressive. But his ARL only goes 3/10. Matty now goes 2/10 between them and Owen, which is incredible. But I think these drivers are going to find even more time with this weather condition.
That is absolutely true. I was just as you said that, DJ Madman put himself on back into 7th place. Everyone's doing actually quite a good job of moving out of the way. Milo de Boer has got back in. Pars is still in the pits, so we'll wait and see how he gets on. Of course, he's on the intermediate, so he's going to just be doing some cycle laps, I think, to start with. But that's a different top 3 to what we're used to. You know, Owen, good driver, really nice to see him up there. He has a bit of bad luck at times, but he's not normally on pole, so it's good to see him back at the sharp end. Matty as well. And ARL always bounces around, and there's Status quo, I spoke too soon. The championship leader has put a second between himself and Owen.
I was to say that the drivers possibly might be liking these conditions, as a game should bring the grid even more closer. But I think Sydney has something to say otherwise to that. But
Yeah,
I think the drivers are going to find this even more grateful.
I think it's going to be a huge challenge tonight. I think there's still a lot more to come. It does look like there is a drier line out there on track. Now, this is the other thing as well. This is the unique nature of this track, because we're doing it in the reverse direction. It's because the game will dry out the racing line. It means that the normal racing line that you're going the normal way around will be drying quicker than what the drivers will be using for the reverse circuit. So if you want to put the dry tyre on, you've got to be especially brave and take different lines through these final laps to be able to make the dry tyre work, if it is in fact dry enough.
I don't think any driver will might take the risk, because looking at some of these corners where the dry line is forming, I think they'd be losing a lot more time than they really would be.
That is very true. Just looking to see, there's a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment, just like they are in the Drivers' Championship, as well as ARL bounces through the final corner. What's his lap time going to be? It's definitely going to be an improvement from the racing, but he goes up to second place. That's a lovely effort from him, and his teammate jumps in front of him. So I think this is going to come down to whoever crosses the line last here. The conditions are evolving all the time.
Yeah, it is. I think there might be some mind games going into the pit lane. I think as you said, you would want to be the last one to cross that line. So let's see who comes out of the pit lane for their final run last.
Yeah, Nitro's gone out now. He's just been in the pits. He's now left. Ruddo's circulating. There's a Sauber there in the background. There's that Milo going on to a lap. Let's just follow Milo. We'll keep an eye on the tyre situation as he comes through turn 1, nice and neat. Turn 2. Now, Milo's not been in most of the session because he's disconnected, so he's back in now. So this is going to be an improvement. Yellow flag, but it's his teammate and brother getting out of the way. Into turns 3 and 4. A little bit hesitant through the right-hander, and then a little bit of a glitch on the screen, but he's nearly 2 seconds faster in Sector 1, showing you how much the conditions have changed. The top 4 still as it was a few moments ago. Into the left-hander, there's a slow car out there, but no harm done. He's going to pick the beam up in a few corners. I say a few corners time. Yeah, a few corners time. It's just all about getting this braking zone right, not invalidating your lap time. Snatches an inside brake, but no harm done. And then down through the gears and down the hill. And he's done a 22.5, but we don't actually know what the time is as he approaches the final corner at turn 10. Locks the corner, slides into turn 10. As Ruddo puts a 1:13.1 in. Can Milo rival that lap time? He goes up to 5th. Nice effort.
I'm just shocked with Roger. Wow, a tier 2 driver, sorry, a tier 2 champion last season to do a 1:13.1 and to beat his teammate Sydney, who is might at this rate, he's his title rival, and he's just beaten by 3/10. But I think as he's already crossed the line, so we might have to see what Sydney can do. As
ARL! Wow, ARL puts himself onto provisional pole. Does he have enough time? Nitrogash is out of the session. I think he's just retired in the pits, actually. So Nitro has decided he doesn't want to go any quicker than what he's done. It's still a really good effort, actually, from the Tier 2 driver. But the problem is because we've got a permanent yellow flag out there, we can't tell you how much bloody time's left in the session. So we're facing the blind at the moment, really. We're very blind. Matty's going towards the final corner. He's going to set a lap time, I think. Is it going to be any quicker? It's going to be marginal if it is. No, he's going to go on to another flying lap. So he's 7/10 down. And we've got 30 seconds to go. So this is critical. So Sydney will cross the line. Ruddo was going across the line. The Alpine Ginger Tiger up to third. A great effort from the boy in tier 2. It looks like the last driver, I think he's going to make it through. Is a Red Bull coming up? Is it Owen? No, it's not Owen. Is it Pars? Yeah, Pars has gone across. 6 seconds to go. It's going to be Milo De Boer who will be the last one to make it through them.
Yeah, it's DJ Madman. He's not going to get another time, but wow, H2 goes even quicker.
Wow. That's a big lap time from Ashtube, who has been looking quite tidy this season actually with his results. He was unlucky in the first race, but he is starting to improve week upon week. Who else is coming towards the line now? I can't quite get to them. I think it's Matty up to 4th. He'd be encouraged by that.
Hey, well, there's Rudder is about to cross the line as well, so let's see what if he can improve. He does cross the P2.
What about Ginger Tiger? No improvement from him. There's a Red Bull. It's Owen to pole. Milo De Boer. Go on, carry on.
I would say Sydney had a nice slipstream from beyond, and he managed to use it at one point. It worked in his favour. He had it for pretty much the entire lap, so he had so much more power compared to the rest. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
Well, it is Sydney who snatches provisional pole. The driver, well, the leader of the driver standings on 27 points at the minute, takes pole at, well, a track that's not too far away from his home, admittedly, but the Dutchman on pole with Owen, a great qualifying from him to start second. Ashtube and Ruddo on row 2 with ARL and Pars on row 3. Björn, the last driver, within a second of pole and 7th. Then it's Matty on row 4 with Ginger Tiger and War Islander in the top 10. Milo De Boer and Nitro are 11th and 12th. And the madman that he is 13th and last, having not driven any laps at all of this race circuit.
Well, so if we're not driving much laps, he's actually doing quite alright, and it is dry.
What a terrible disappointment. No, in truth, I think the drivers will appreciate that. I wonder if anyone was thinking about the race and just thought, actually, we'll just run a dry setup, and they might have been a little bit compromised from their setup. So potentially that's what's gone on there. If we have a little look at the driver standings, just whilst we wait for everyone to get their setups on and such, it is the 2 Ferraris leading the way. It's Sydney on 27 points after his win last week at the Hungaroring. Ruddo is second on 26 points, so 1 point between the top 2. Björn De Boer is third, tied with Pars for 20 points. Of course, Björn got his first podium last week as well after harrying Sydney through most of the race. Jeremy Clarkson, we haven't seen him since round 1. He was due to race tonight, but unfortunately at the last minute was unable to. He's still in 5th place from his race win at China. He's on 17 points. ARL is 6th on 14, with Owen and Milo De Boer on 11 each, so they're 7th equal. SFR Matty is 9th on 10 points, and then we've got Denmark and Ashtube, Denmark not racing tonight, inside the top 10 on 9 points each. We are yet to have a point score for Rock Lee or Jel Geeson so far in the championship, so we'll wait and see how they do on their return. But YB, in terms of action tonight, do you think is going to be, who are your podium for tonight's race?
Ooh. If we see no safety cars and there's no contact, I think the top 3 is going to stay the exact same. But I think if there's a possibility, I think if we see Roger doing what he's done in the past, I can see him moving up into the podium positions. But I also wouldn't count out Bjorn as well.
I think there's a few contenders, isn't there? And I think because of the way that this track is, because it's the reverse variant, we're going to see more mistakes this evening. You said, you inferred it before, there's going to be carnage, there's going to be people going off the road, and I fully expect that to happen, really. I do genuinely think that this is going to be a step into an unknown for a lot of the drivers. Matty saying, boo, wants rain. I do too, I won't lie. I do too, really do, Matty. If you are watching in the comments, there are quite a few of you watching this evening. I'm sure there's quite a few of you waiting for the carnage to unfold. Do put your predictions in of who you think is going to be in the top three. I'm sure Matty will pick his brother, so he'll say Ruddo for the positions. I think you have to look towards Sydney and Ruddo for me as a potential race winner.
Yeah, a possibility, but I think with the pace that Sydney usually shows, even though I know that a colour pace and race pace is far different, but if he manages to get off the line again perfectly, even though he didn't do it in the past two races, but we could see a possibility if he does get off the line perfectly now, we could see possibly a dominant display.
We'll have to see because you make a good point, YB, there, because Sydney's starts this season have been susceptible to being overtaken. We saw it with Jeremy Clarkson at round one, got past him, and obviously that was the move that basically cemented Jeremy's first win in a long time. It's the Cat saying first three corners are going to be interesting on the first lap. Yeah, definitely. I think some drivers are going to struggle with the braking zone for turn one because we saw people taking it at fifth gear. You never know, depending on the start-finish line and where the drivers will be starting, how quickly they will reach there and whether anyone would have enough speed to take it flat at the start. Because they might be starting further down the grid, and if they are, they might be up to fifth or sixth gear by the time they get there.
Yeah, I think he will, as you said, I think a lot of drivers might miss their braking point. And so I think we might see a lot of carbon fibre going into turn one.
Now, we wouldn't normally do this because we know that the drivers in IRL, we've had some, in both tiers so far this season, we've had some really good racing. I know we've had a smaller grid size compared to what we are used to, but that's weirdly translated so that the racing action has been spectacular for the opening two races. But I will ask the question to IB, how many safety cars are you going to predict for this evening? Virtual and safety car, so I'll let you have a go.
I think there will be two safety car and one virtual.
2 and 1, okay. Let's. And do you think the first safety car will happen in the first 5 laps?
I'm going to give you one better. I think there might be one in the first opening lap.
Massey saying, if you have fun, everyone's a winner. That's very sweet.
He's not wrong.
It's not wrong. No, it's very true. I think this has been the most competitive Invictus Racing League series we've had since the change of ownership, really. I think there's been a lot of fights. I think there's so far in the opening 2 races. I think tonight's going to be a little bit different as we get ourselves on the grid for all the formation laps. So the drivers, they are actually starting quite far down, so they will have to brake for turn 1. And let's have a look at the tyre situation. What do we have? A whole rainbow. So we've got the top 9 all on the medium tyres. The next 3 after that are on the hards. And DJ Madman has decided he wants to go to do the softs. But I reckon that's just because he wants to get a feel for the car.
I agree. I mean, he's got realistically nothing to lose. He doesn't regularly race in Tier 1, so I think he's just trying to get ahead of the field from Tier 2.
Yeah, I think as well, if you look at the drivers who are in Tier 1 and look at the comparison with Tier 2, you have to give credit to both Ginger Tiger and the War Islander, because, I mean, I know War Islander is now a permanent fixture of Tier 1, but he's normally, or has been, a Tier 2 driver. So that he's got in front of Milo, and as has Ginger for that matter. Never disputed Ginger's qualifying speed, by the way. He's always been especially good over 1 lap paces. Sydney goes completely off the road at turn 8, which we're going to see a few times tonight. But his 1 lap pace has really shone through there, and I think a 9th place berth is well deserved for the Alpine driver.
Yeah, it is. To be fair, both Ginger and the War Island usually be going head to head for qualifying into So they're doing it here again. So we could be in a mixture of Tier 1 fighting for the high spots, while Tier 2, led by Ginger and Wild, could be spicy.
Yeah. Warline Islander, by the way, for people who are wondering, of course, you might be thinking, how does he score points? Does he get the points that he would have received from Tier 2 into Tier 1? That's not quite the case. He will get the points that he scored from 5th and 4th place in qualifying, taking his race pace as kind of the qualifying pace is kind of the fairest assessment for him. Both sets of races so far have been slightly different, but we're on the grid here for Austria Reverse. The first time we've ever done it in the wrong direction here at Spielberg. And the race is live from Red Bull Ring Reverse, and it looks like a strong start from the front row of the grid for Sydney. He's beaten Owen into turn 1. The Red Bull slots in behind. It's Owen, then it's Ashtube. We're 3 wide into turn 1, and Owen has gone round all by himself, and he's spun immediately. So it's a Ferrari 1-2. Then it's Pars, who's alongside Ashtube going into turn 3. They're brave and bold, are they? Ashtube's trying to keep his car there, but they just make a little bit of contact, survive it wheel to wheel. Björn's trying to find a way through. SFR Matty's on the inside of ARL, and he's going to run out wide as ARL, and he'll slot in behind the Williams, but he is on the inside at turn 7. They give each other racing room. Matty should have the traction in theory, but I think a better line from the Racing Bull has promoted those two into 5th and 6th places, so the team will be delighted about that. As we barrel into turn 8, oh, the Williams and Matty. Oh, Milo was kind of lucky, actually. He got away with that. But his car ghosted as War Islander goes past Nitro. Over to you, YB.
Yeah, I was right. There was a bit of Carlin side, but his Ashtube is missing a bit of his end play, so that's not good. But he's up to 4th, so he's doing all right with the missing end play. But I think, at this current stage, I don't think he'll be pitting anytime soon.
Yeah, he should be okay. I think as well, Austria, one of those race circuits where even if it's the front layout or the reverse layout, I don't think wing damage is going to be too impactful around here. And looking at the damage on the front left end plate as we get the possible race strategies here as he slides through that right-hander. Björn's got a chance to go around the outside at turn 7 into 8, or rather turn 6 into 7. Can he cut underneath? That's a lovely bit of traction from the kick Sauber. DRS will be open, of course, barreling towards turn 8, and I think there's really going to be only one car through at a time there, and that is the case. The Sauber, despite Ashtube's best intentions, the Sauber just squeezed him out of the way, and Björn lets him back through. I wonder if he was a bit mean, and he's going to cause himself some strife, because ARL will take advantage of that into turn 10, and the Racing Bulls are 5th and 4th.
Yeah, I think the sportsmanship there kind of bought himself back there, but it is nice to see, but he will get it back eventually. I think either under the pits or just generally overtaking a roundabout before turn 8 and just after turn 7.
Yeah, that is very true. Now, Sydney has got himself a 1 second gap to his teammate. Pars is behind Ruddo, so this is a repeat of Tier 2 from last season. The Racing Bulls, then it's Björn. There's a little gap to Matty, but they're in DRS. Then it's Ginger. Then we've got the hard tyre runners. That's War Islander, Milo, and Nitro. They've been rejoined by Owen. So despite his spin, Owen hasn't lost too much time relative to the... Oh, and as soon as I say it, he has a half spin and then he has a full spin. That is a shame. Commentator's curse, and Owen has retired from the race.
I think it's curse right again as per usual, but Pars does make the move onto Ruddo, but just before turn 8, so he did do wonderful. But I think Ruddo had the previous lap, I think he had a bit of a mistake going wide into turn 8. So I think that's why he lost around about 1.1 second to his teammate Sydney, which allowed Pars to just kind of snatch the move. So yeah, so now let's see what Pars can do in front of Rudder.
Lovely move from Björn. Ash tube run a little bit wide. I don't know if that's the front wing just struggling a little bit at the fast turn one. In fact, I think that front wing damage is causing a bit more grief than we might have perhaps thought. Maybe because we're going uphill. The aerodynamic forces are pushing the wing in a way that the drivers wouldn't have accounted for. And he's in the firing line of SFR Matty if he can get a good exit. But it's all action. It's all kicking off here in Austria Reverse.
Yeah, it is, and no one really giving himself breathing room out there. So there could be a lot of moves at once. Just between the near enough the 12 drivers remaining onto the grid, so it could see anything.
Yeah, anything really can happen. And I've just watched ARL go sideways into turn 8 under the braking zone, so he's got his rearward brake bias set very extremely. Björn's looking very strong in these opening couple of laps. Pars is currently holding on to second place. Ruddo not able to make a move as Björn all over the curb and sideways through turn 2, gathers it all together. But these 8, including Ginger Tiger, who's hanging on well, are all doing a solid job. War Islander's 9th, Madman's 10th. I think Nitro's had a spin somewhere because he was far in front of Madman. And then Milo, of course, is in 12th after his issues that he's had. And that's Ruddo through.
Yeah, Pars had a bit of a mistake going into turn 7. He just near enough went the car sideways. And Ruddo was like, yep, I'll take that one for free. Wow.
Easy enough that, wasn't it, really, for him. So the Ferrari's back in their first and second places as Milo makes a straightforward pass on Nitro for 11th, and I think he's going to make an even easier one on Madman, who's just trying to get his bearings on this track. DRS wide open, Madman moves to the inside line to try and cover the line. That's not going to work. He goes through, and Nitro with the next one to try and get past down through the gears. Nitro just about lines the car up as Milo picks up the first of track limits. But Madman manages to hold on for now. And is that Ginger Tiger going around the outside of Matty at 3 and 4? That was brave! Contact between the two. Matty's into the gravel.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Going into turn 3 and 4, it's a bit audacious, that, but the stewards might just have a bit of a look at that, but let's see what they might say.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ginger Tiger was alongside him going into the right-hander. It wasn't as if he wasn't there. But Ginger is really putting a good shift in here at the moment. War Islander, I think, is coming back to this group. So maybe the hard tyres now at this stage of the race just starting to bed in quite nicely. Because Ruddo, look at this at the front, YB. Ruddo is within DRS of Sydney, and he's miles ahead of Pars.
Pars could have had an issue, but I think Ruddo's just really finding his groove once and out. And other drivers still might not have found it, but he's in the rhythm right now. We could possibly see the change of lead anytime soon.
Yeah, we perhaps might do. Of course, we've got to remember Ruddo yet to win in Tier 1 in his IRL career. He had a second place, of course, in China, was really competitive that day. Could have had a race win under different circumstances, but Jeremy Clarkson had other ideas. Now, I'm also wondering, though, Sydney might have had a mistake, because that gap was a lot bigger earlier on, and maybe they both, him and Pars, had a few issues, because Pars now is under real pressure from ARL and Björn, so that could go sideways.
It could do, but I was just looking at the time difference. Going into turn 7, you were a second behind, but now Rudder's 5/10 behind. So something must be going on with the different setups there, which might allow Rudder to go a little bit quicker on the straights. But Sydney might be getting the faster exit from the corner, so that could be the difference.
Maybe it is, perhaps. Pars is still doing a good job in third place. Oh, I say that, and another commentator's curse coming at him right there as he has a big wobble through the right-hander at 4. He takes a slightly different line, does Pars, through turn 5, but it's just as quick as ARL, so that's interesting to see at the right-hander. There's two different lines that you could take through there. Björn's stuck in the pair of them. I do feel that Björn's quicker than these two at the moment. I think he's just stuck in a DRS train, which you do see at Austria. Meanwhile, Ginger Tiger, look at this. Down through the gears, he's on the outside line at 8, and that's going to be too wide from Ashtube, who is struggling with that front wing, and I'm fairly certain a little bit of battery. The Alpine should be going past Ashtube. He's going to make a bit of a meal of it, but he will get through before turn 10. Alpine moves into 6th place. A Tier 2 driver is having a great time out there.
Yes, as Matthew now goes into the pit, so could we see for the other medium entire runners, could they be possibly into the pits now? Because normally this circuit is usually quite evidence onto these tyres, but we do not feel it on the reverse, so are these tyres just absolutely just screaming at them at this point?
Perhaps. I mean, the War Islander, it looks like the quicker of Ginger and Ashtube at the moment, and don't forget, he started on the hard tyres. Is that ARL up into 3rd place? It is. Sister teams have swapped place, and ARL got past Pars before DRS, so he actually picked up the drag reduction system points. Oh, as Pars almost snatches a break, and then ARL has a wiggle out of that corner at turn number 8. Jesus, there's lots going on, and my brain's doing its absolute frenetic best to keep up with it all. And Björn's in.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised that the two Ferraris are still going after it. It drops down less than 3/10 the lead. But I think the other mediums might be trying to extend their stunt a little bit, but it's a bit shocking that Bjorn is the second of the medium tyre to come in for the hard tyres, so it is a bit of a shock.
I wonder if Björn's committing to it. I mean, he was obviously stuck behind Ginger and Ashtube. I wonder if he's decided, I'm going to try and switch to a 2-stop strategy and then do the undercut on everybody and hope that I've got enough pace. And War Islander, well, that's Ashtube round. So in theory, if Björn had waited another lap, he probably would have found a way past in the end. But I'm just wondering if he's switched tack and gone, I need to do a 2-stop. Björn is the king of the 1-stop, I won't lie, within IRL. He is impressive for tyre longevity, as Ruddo is very close. And Sydney in the pits, race leader in the pits.
I'm not surprised. I don't think he wanted to risk a double stack Ferrari, so I'm assuming that Ruddo will be getting the next pit stop as ARL goes through into the pits. That's another thing, is the Royal Olympus does pit, but Ginger also doesn't pit as well. So the 1, 2, and 3 so far yet to pit. So with Warlander, but the medium tyre runners, they could see a possibility that they will be in this lap as Milo now picks up another 2-second penalty.
Yeah, he does indeed. I'm just looking at the gap between Sydney. He's come out just in front of Milo, but the gap between Sydney and where's Milo going? Oh, is he going to hit the wall? He is. Is that a broken front wing? Can he get the car? It is a broken front wing. I mean, you never ever in F1 see that tyre concrete barrier. Can he get... He's trying to get the car... I don't really quite know what's going on with Milo. I think he's trying to get the car across the gravel so he doesn't beach it. And now he's beached it. Milo de Boer has just beached the car on the exit of turn number 4. Now it looks like there's a VSC out there, and Milo has been disqualified from getting his car beached. He was trying not to do that, but unfortunately that's what it led to him doing. And this is great for those drivers who are pitting now, because they're getting a free pit stop under VSC.
Yeah, they would, but I'm surprised that Ginger didn't pit, because he's just clearly gone through. So that could be costing dividends in the long run. But now Ruddo is now ahead of Sydney. So that's a really key thing here.
It's just given him enough, hasn't it, to swap the Ferraris around. ARL is into what is a net 3rd place. He's got a nice up to Björn. Pars is now in 6th, who must be a bit confused as to why he's down there. Then it's War Islander, Matty, who pitted earlier. Ashtube's got a brand new front wing, and we are now racing again. So Ginger Tiger decided he didn't want to pit. I wonder if Ginger is doing a bit of tier 2 scoping here, YB. I wonder if he's just thinking, how long can I really take these medium tyres to the end before they fall off a cliff?
Hey, could be. It's, now we have 11 drivers, so if he scores, we'll get points. But in the long run, it doesn't give a massive in tier 1. But again, if he doesn't pick again, so he is going to probably see how far these medium tyres can go. So we could see a possibility tomorrow. We could see maybe mediums could be his starting choice.
Yeah, that might be the case, of course, with ARL, and Björn will be commentating on that event. They're currently in 4th and 5th places at the moment, the Tier 2 drivers. If you expect carnage from the Tier 1 drivers, expect it in double doses for Tier 2. I'm certain of that. But Ginger is hemorrhaging time at the moment on those mediums. I know he's probably thinking slightly different to everybody else because he doesn't have as... Whoa! As he has a huge slide out of 7. Just about gathered it all together, but as I was saying, he was hemorrhaging time and he needs to pit really, because I think he's probably hit the end of life of those yellow Pirelli tyres.
Yeah, I to agree with you that definitely must be tyre wear really kicking it within him, so he must be pitting right about now.
No.
Wow.
Ginger Tiger wants his time in the sun. And we're just going to see. We're going to ride on board with Ruddo. This is the closest, well, the most imposing fight on circuit as Sydney sets a new fastest lap of the race. But Ruddo, we're going to just watch a corner-by-corner profile, the difference in speed between new hard compound tyres compared to 13-lap-old mediums. Loads of commitment through the right-hander. You can see that corner-by-corner he's taken tenths away from the Alpine. This long right-hander, he's got so much more grip. He is now within DRS at that line then. Into turn number 7. And again, just has a lot more traction. Look how quickly he's caught up. DRS, Ruddo's going to get on with this. He's got the battery deployed. Bang, straight through. Up into the lead of the race. And the good thing for Ruddo is that he's cleared Ginger just at the right time. Because Sydney is going to have to try and find a way past YB. And if he doesn't do it on this straight, he's going to lose time. If Ginger doesn't pit, that is.
Yeah, he's staying to the left, but I think he is going to pit.
Yeah.
Right, he did allow Rudder to go through, which now Sticky goes through, so this could pay dividends to Sydney, but he is 1.5 behind Rudder. But we could see about after the lead, nearly throughout to the end of the race.
Can I also say as well that actually worked out brilliantly for Sydney, because when Ginger pitted, he'd picked up DRS, did Sydney, from the back of the Alpine. So that's just closed that gap down to 1.3 seconds. ARL having his most competitive race in some time, and he's looking very strong on the hard tyres. I'm going to cut away from him. I don't want to curse him.
Oh, Jesus.
What happened there?
I think I actually tried to overtake Ginger, but I'm not too sure what happened to Ginger.
He's in the other wall on the outside at turn 3.
I'm not sure if Natural might have possibly hit Ginger. He did try to go past at turn 3 and 4. But he just had he just gone to the curb and grass a bit too much. He's lost the car. As Ginger tried to go through, but wow.
Well, those two earlier on were the ones that made contact with one another, and that saw Ashtube off the road, and they've had contact at the same corner again. So Ginger's experiment, sadly, has come to a close, and SFR Matty has decided he wants to get another set of tyres on. We'll just stay with this, see if he goes for another set of hards, because if he is, he's going to try and take it to the end of the race, and yeah, there you go, that's confirmation right there. He's going to try and do that.
Not a tough shout out to go with the hearts to the end of the race. As now DRS gets enabled. So we could see a possibility, we could see a possibility that those tyres, we might be gone with that before then, so we could see a puncture.
Yeah, we absolutely could. We don't know what the loads are going through the tyres because of the way that this circuit is in reverse. Now, you'd think, in theory, yes, it would be the exact same as it would be, but the opposite. But that's not quite how centrifugal force works with a Formula One car. So that is not going to be happening. The drivers are just going to have to manage that tyre wear. We will know that the right-hand tyres will be struggling the most because that's where the load will be going through on that corner as we watch Rudder go through turn one. Him and Sydney still quite close together. ARL stalking the pair, and then everybody else is just a couple of seconds away from each other in the top six because War Island has done a great job. And then it's Ash Tube, Nitro, Matty and Madman all in their own battles at the moment, but Nitro and Ash Tube are very close.
Yeah, but I think the closest that I think we're possibly going to get is possibly with the lead at this rate. Nitro just going a bit onto the grass a little bit, but yeah, I think at this rate, if we don't get another virtual safety car or a normal safety car, I think these drivers, we might not see battle until either changing the lead or until the next pit stop.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see if these drivers. I mean, we know that everybody, apart from Matty with the question mark, is going to have to pit again. You know, those hard tyres, we don't expect them to last for as long as they have. And the other thing that's going on is that ARL is inching his way to the back of Sydney. Now, if he can get there, it will just bring himself into a fight, because in theory, if he gets DRS and gets past Sydney down the straight, he will leapfrog him. But do not underestimate the Scuderia team orders. Ruddo might be happy to drop back just to give Sydney a bit of DRS, so watch that space. But Nitro, YB, looking close to Ash Tube now.
He is, but he has got to keep in mind, he has got some time penalties, but that might not go in his way. But he really does need to get ahead and just storm off and try and catch the War Island in front of Act 2. So we could see a change for 8 and 7, but I don't see it could be going maybe the next lap.
Oh, Nitro's got that all wrong. He's going to go into the wall. And there you go. That's what I was saying. Turn 8 is a difficult corner, and sadly, Nitro just got on the curb and the car was unsettled. It bottomed out and into the wall it goes. I'm actually quite stunned he hasn't ripped a wheel off there, to be frank. So Nitro will go into the pits. New front wing change for him. He'll be treating this as a testing session as he gets into the pit lane. That's another thing we didn't talk about, YB, is that the pit lane for this track is going to be a bit awkward.
Yeah, it is. It's downhill, so it's going to be a little bit hard to brake, but also the pit exit, you're going to go uphill, and you're going to be coming onto incoming traffic if there is traffic behind you. So that was a key thing in qualifying, but it's also been a big key thing here. But I think Madman will get past Nitro Gas before he even gets that far. So the first and second gone.
That is very, very much the case. So Nitro, he'll have a new set of tyres, but he's going to have to pit again, as will Madman. So that's a little fight over the last of the Tier 2 drivers for 9th place. I've just spoken with Ginger Tiger. He said he doesn't really know what quite happened. He feels like he's been wiped out. Sadly, we didn't see it quite on stream what went on, but we do know that sadly it just ended up with Ginger in the wall, and he was doing a good job. I think it looked like he was trying to run a one stop. He could have been doing there. So that's a great shame, but that's why, and we speculated this, why he was staying out for so long was to see how far he could take those medium tyres.
He did do very well, but I'm just surprised that we haven't seen a safety car yet. Touch wood, there's no commentary kills for that, but yeah, I'm just honestly surprised with these drivers.
we've had 2 VSCs, haven't we? So your pre-race prediction of 2 safety cars and 1 VSC kind of is inverted at the minute. What we really need is a safety car, and then you'd be accurate just the opposite way round, which is appropriate for.
I'm sorry.
No, it's appropriate because this is a reverse circuit, so it's the opposite of what we know. So technically, you'd be right.
Technically, it would, but also in addition to the safety car, you bunch these drivers off. And we would see a possibility that it will be a really interesting ride.
Whilst we've been chatting, though. Oh, yellow flag. That's a Sauber. Is that Björn? It is. Björn de Boer, as we were talking, has gone off the road. I was just about to say War Islanders catching Pars. Pars is up to 4th and Björn's down to 5th. So down through the gears. Oh, War Islander just got it wrong into 7. I think he'd have got Björn then. DRS available for the Aston Martin, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. He's going to have to brake earlier. Oh, Björn's locked the rear tyres. He's got a very, very rear bias brake aligned car there as he slides into the corner. War Island's got the bit between his teeth. He doesn't want this Sauber in front of him. He can't find a way through at turn 10. But now Björn will have to try and recalibrate because he was an outside chance for a podium there was Björn. And now he's got off the road and he's back with these two.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he knew if went off the same place his brother went off at turn 4 and 5. So that was honestly surprising. But as Nigel Gash now goes past Madman at turn 1 and 2. So,
Björn looks like he's just put this to one side. And I think the other thing as well is that Pars and War Islander are both on medium tyres now that have done 10 laps. They are going to be struggling. Look at Pars just running wide at turn 7. The Sauber, I think this is going to be slim pickings for Pars. He might be under pressure from War Islander. Actually, he's not. He's okay. He's a bit further back. Oh, War Islander, he's going to lose it. D1 drifts into turn 8. No one sleeping Austria because they're sleeping. As we're all watching the Aston Martin go sideways through there. And Pars is striking back. It's going to be on the inside at turn 1. No, he's in the pits. That was clever. The Red Bull moves into the pits. And I'm assuming it will be... I'm just trying to remember. He started on the medium tyre. So this will be hards to the end of the race.
yeah, as he does go into hards, which is surprising right now. Bjorn does now have a breathing space between him and Winder, but now he... And... no, that's Madman, I think.
Yeah. I think Madman actually just moved right... I think Madman had a spin, but also at the same time, as a result of his spin, gone out of the lapping Ferraris.
Yeah, so it doesn't really help them too, but Sting now, so he's now 2 seconds and gets a time penalty as well. So
Just as you say it. Just as you say it, YV, he picked up that time penalty. Is he going to pit? He is.
Yeah, so he does take the lead of the pit stops yet again. So is this the possibility of an undercut? Possibly. But the pace that Rudder is showing, it might not be possible.
No, and not at the minute. Rudder is looking fairly secure at the front. He's been keeping his teammates at arm's length. Björn now moves up into 3rd place. Now, War Islander is the outlier here because he started on the hard compound tyres in the Aston Martin. He will pit again and go to the medium. So even though Pars is undercutting, he'll have a better tyre for the end of the race.
Yeah, he would.
Oh, Sydney. Wow. Sorry to interrupt, YB. I thought that was him going round at 3 and 4, and he collected that together. That was good car control.
He is Tracy Wilder, but he has got a time penalty, so that will have come into dividends, but the other drivers in front of him do yet have to pit. So, as Rudder not entered into the pits,
well,
so he'll be going on to another set of hards. As I think ARL just goes straight through, and I think Bjorn is staying on to the left, now goes to the right, so he doesn't go into the pit as well. So Rudder is into the pits, but the other 2 drivers ahead will now have to pit as well.
well,
So he'll be going on to another set of hards. As I think ARL just goes straight through, and I think Bjorn is staying on to the left, now goes to the right, so he doesn't go into the pit as well. So Rudder is into the pits, but the other 2 drivers ahead will now have to pit as well.
Now, where is Ruddo in relation to his teammate? This is going to be tight. Into the left-hander at turn 1. Ruddo's going to get in front just about, but he's not really up to speed. And Sydney goes around the outside. What a move!
It was definitely on the limits of track limits, yeah. He just let him through, so I'm not too sure if he did have a track limits there or overtaking Ruddo. It does allow Ruddo to go back through.
But that has closed the gap right up now. Because Ruddo is with them. Oh, War Islanders just dropped it a little bit wide off the corner. He's going to lose 2 spaces here. One Ferrari's gone through. He's trying to fight the other one, but on this occasion, he can't. And War Islanders' time on those medium tyres is... Whoa! You caught it too, YB. Go on.
Yeah, it was just tricky and a bit of going wide as well. I'm not too sure if War Islanders did as well, but geez, the Ferraris, as they go into turn 10, Sydney goes to clean through, and yeah, I think it was War Islander now pits.
So, this is the race situation. Let's have a look at it. Lead of the race, ARL, is 7 seconds clear. Then it's Sydney and Ruddo in 3rd and 4th. War Islander's coming out of the pits now, but he's going to be behind Ash Tube, who still has to pit. Pars is running to the end, so watch out for Pars and War Islander. SFR Matty pitted way earlier than everybody else. He's running out of sync with the other drivers. He could go to the end, in theory, as far as we know. He should be all right, I think, now to the end of the race, but we'll have to wait and see. He's in a bit of a unknown no man's land, really. War Island are now out of the pits. Nitro and Madman, they're just going to be, I think, 9th and 10th unless something dramatic happens. So, the new theory is this. And YB, let me know what your thoughts are on this. I'm watching ARL going into turn 1, lap 27. Is he going to try and make it to the end?
Ooh, I don't know if Bjorno goes into the pits, so we could do. But I think going with these tyres when you're in a plus 20 laps is a very hard risk. And it's a risk that I probably would not take if I were the drivers themselves. But it's possible, but it'd be very difficult.
He is currently losing 2 seconds a lap. So I think even if he does stay out, the catch is going to come on lap 30 by the seams of it.
Yeah, it does seem that Sydney is on pressure tyres, but Sydney's also a quite quick driver. So I think we could see the possibility that it might be, but I think Aaron might pit this lap. Just try and get his hard tyres away, but he'll go into another set of hard tyres. He could possibly try to drag it as he now goes into the pits.
There you go. Get your braking zone spot on, which he does do. Tricky braking zone for the pit lane this, so down through the gears, and he gets it stopped nicely. I'm surprised we've not seen any pit limiter violation penalties yet. But that means Sydney is in the lead of the race. He's got Ruddo just stalking him, so the 2 Ferraris now out front, no drama around them. ARL in relation to Pars should be comfortably clear. He gets the tyres fired up. He'll have a couple of corners to get them warmed up. Here's Björn past Ash Tube for 5th place. Now Björn's the one to watch because he's got medium tyres compared to Pars and ARL in front of him. Watch out for him. We'll stay with him for a bit.
Ruddo goes even more quickly. We'll just get DRS, but it is the outlier. Will we get the move done in turn 7 or 8? Could we see it on that straight? He will get a DRS, but does he have more battery? Yes, he does. So he could get the possibility done here, but he could wait after turn 8, which I think he is doing. If you don't want to do anything risky, don't do that. Oh no, he thinks it's nice and safe.
They're just running in formation at the moment, which is what he'll like to see. Now I'm on board with Björn. DRS, he's powering towards turn 10. He's going to look to the outside line. We're going to have side by side into this corner. First time we've seen it. Pars runs him out of the road. Which, to be honest with you, and Björn's not happy about it, but in truth, I think he can only get one car through turn 1. Or rather the old turn 10, which is turn 1. So I think Björn wasn't too pleased, but at the end of the day, I don't think that's a 2 cars into one goes, really. Look at
No, it's
this!
not really. Ooh.
Wow! Can he go around the outside? He can! Little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between the two, but he goes through. Wow, that was brilliant. What a move from Björn.
I wasn't expecting that. I was about to comment as Sydney picked another one. He has been a bit tedious to track with it. But wow, I'm surprised that Bjorn managed to go for the move. But I'm guessing, yeah, with the move at certain time, I think he was a bit frustrated with us. He might have just on the dive bomb. Oh, it's got it sideways and kind of caught into the corner a little bit. But wow, what a move!
That was brilliant, considering that every DNF has come, or, issue that has come from this race has been at that corner. That was stupendous from Björn. He moves up to 4th and he's got 6 laps to chase a 3-second gap to ARL in front of him, who will be hoping for a podium. Will ARL? It's been a while for him. It'd be really good to see him on the step of the podium, but he's going to have his work cut out against his good commentary pal in 3rd place there.
Yeah, also the key thing here is Sydney picks another one up, but we could see Sydney drop. And ARL could retain it and could go into 2nd here. So we could see the possibility of that. But if Beyond does go even more quicker and catches ARL, Sydney could drop to 4th here and Riddle could inherit the lead.
Yeah. Sydney has to be careful now, as you say, YB. ARL, though, last season, best result, 4th place on 2 occasions. It's been a while since he had a bit of a torrid time last season in Tier 1, did ARL, but right now he is doing what he needs to do. His pace has been strong, actually, around this reverse circuit. I have to say, he's been doing a grand job. However, he's got to stave off the threat of Björn if he can. But I think Björn's having a bit of trouble shaking pars, YB.
Yeah, he is. And I think the key thing is that Pars is on the hard, so they might be a little bit older. But the mediums will drag a lot further as Nitrogas tries on the soft. So he is trying to go for the fastest lap. But yeah, he is struggling. But I think the medium tire should really go a little bit quicker. But I think the hard tire at this stage is going to work a lot better for Pars.
So maybe it will swing in the other direction then. We will have to wait and find out if this will pay off as Ashtube goes past the War Islander, which I'm kind of surprised by because Ashtube's got 20 lap old tyres compared to War Islander's 5 on the mediums. Surely they're not burnt up already on the AM R25.
I don't know, you wouldn't think so, but because they both were switching positions constantly just because of that previous lap. But I'm surprised that the hard tyres have lasted 21 laps around here. I'm surprised the tyres are screaming at him at this point.
I thought War Islander was thinking about a little lunge somewhere. He's trying to look at the outside line of 7. Ruddo, is that a move for the lead? It is. Had to just cut away from that, but Ruddo takes the lead of the race and he is odds on to take his first win in Tier 1. Meanwhile, for his first result in Tier 1 for a long time, War Islander is going to go around the outside at turn 8. And I can't believe those two have just given each other racing room as Nitro sets the fastest lap of the race. And Ashtube must have an absolute missile strapped to the back of that car because he didn't have DRS YB, but he still stayed in front.
It could be possibly like he's running the setup line a little bit quicker on the straight, but as well, because really on this circuit, even my bump takes 3 seconds. Hell but if you'll just go a little bit wide, at turn 4 and 5, that is really costing for a lot of drivers there.
So it looks like a really challenging corner going uphill. It just seems to be, it goes on forever. And of course, when you get over the top of a crest, you always get a little bit more pushed airflow underneath the car. So that'll separate the tyres from the track a little bit. Not too much in terms of contact patch where it'll jump, but what it will do is it will affect the dynamic balance of the car. So for Björn, a couple of slides that we like to see him do, as he demonstrated last week. And is that War Islander? Yes, down the inside at number 8. That's what he's wanted. And he's managed to fire away from the Racing Bull. Can he stay in front before they get to turn 10? It's going to be close, but he's in front.
Yeah, it is a surprise that Austria has really got 22 laps in these hard tyres. We've got another 2 laps with these hard tyres to run. So he'll be the one to look at. He possibly could get a puncture if these tyres are not up to speed and he's not really done these tyres well, you know.
Yeah, we are in an interesting territory now, aren't we, at the moment? Because for Ash, this is kind of this is also like a little bit of advice for the tier 2 drivers. They're watching this thinking, can we take those tyres? Can we do a one-stop tomorrow? We'll have to wait and see. Ginger Tiger was trying to do it earlier. Big snap of oversteer for Ash. He is one we're watching with keen interest, because if the tyres go, he is going to drop down to, well, if he gets a puncture, you'd probably imagine he'd drop to 10th. Although, we'll have to wait and see if that does happen, because Madman is about 40 odd seconds behind, actually. If you look, he's right in front of you, so he's lapped down, so that's not going to affect him.
So he does go, I think he does go into the next lap, so we could see the possibility that these tyres could go on the final lap, but I don't think we might possibly. So let's just see it and find out.
We will. We're on the penultimate lap of the race. Ruddo has broken the DRS to his teammate. It's very tight going into turn 8, but he should be fine. Pars is the one to watch. He's in a stronger position now with those tyres. And the mediums are losing their grip as we watch Björn hurtle towards turn 8. It looks like that Racing Bull has just been out of reach the whole time. Are we about to see an ARL podium? But the Ferraris crossed the line to start lap 36. Pars is closing, but isn't close enough yet. One lap to go. Not many miles left of this 10-corner circuit. We're watching Pars. We're about to see Ruddo take his first win in Tier 1. Providing there's no last-second dramas. Pars is especially close to the Sauber in front of us, but just can't seem to find a way past. And I'm going to cut over in a moment to our race leader, but it comes down to this corner. Oh, and there you go. Matty has done it. He has picked up a time penalty. I wonder if he got a puncture. Yeah, he did. Front left. That's why he pitted. But Ruddo, one corner to go. It's a first win for Ruddo 24, and he takes the lead of the championship here at Austria Reverse. A great result for him. He takes the win with Sydney second. Pars, he's not quite close enough. It's going to be ARL for a first podium in a long, long time. The Racing Bull gets third. Björn is fourth in the end. Pars a close fifth for the Red Bull. We've seen Nitrogash come across the line. War Islander is going to come around turn 10 for 6th position. He'll be pleased with that for his first appearance in Tier 1. I think at a more conventional circuit it'll be a lot closer than that. Ash Tube has managed to make those tyres survive 26 laps. That's a great, great drive from Ash. Madman crosses the line, and we're just waiting on SFR Matty, who was kind of out of sync today with everybody. I think his tyre strategy and a few issues that he had earlier on in the race kind of put him against the odds with everything. But nevertheless, an 8th place result is not something to be sniffed at.
No, it's not. I'm honestly shocked that Ashley has managed to take those hard tyres to 26 laps. That is something that is a shock to me. So, wow.
Brilliant tyre conservation going on there from him. And you can see Ruddo on the podium at the top step, celebrating. Him in Sydney are having a good inter-rival championship here for the Scuderia. The Tifosi will be going delirious at this result. And of course, with the Racing Bull of ARL getting his first podium in a long time. Fastest lap went to Nitro in the end. That soft tyre glory run came in handy. Driver of the day and most overtakes going away of War Islander, who was involved in a lot of fights. Ruddo getting cleanest driver. But a quick run through of the provisional race results. It's Ruddo from Sydney, a Ferrari 1-2, with ARL getting his first podium in quite some time. Björn is fourth of Pars in fifth. War Islander in sixth and Ashjeeb in seventh. Then you get the penalty-stricken drivers of SFR, Matty, Nitrogash and Madman. We had retirements from Ginger, who doesn't quite understand how he's gone off, but he's seemingly been taken off in his own words. Owen, who just things went wrong for him from the start. And sadly for Milo, getting disqualified for beaching the car on the exit of turn 3 and 4.
The amazing race though, the start of the fight and thingy, but wow, not as chaos as I thought it might be, but it was definitely an interesting race to watch.
Yeah, it was. I think the drivers behaved themselves rather well, YB, I think, tonight. I'm sure that the Tier 2 drivers tomorrow will behave themselves in a similar manner. Not. That should be quite exciting. We have a good number of drivers for tomorrow's race. I believe we've got 13 in for tomorrow, which should be good fun. But that's it from IRL for tonight at Austria Reverse. Next week, first sprint of the season at Spa-Francorchamps. So it's a chance for the drivers to really shake their muscles at a track that goes in the right direction, which I'm sure they will all be pleased about. But YB, just one last word from you before we finish up. What was your favourite moment from this evening, and have you got a driver of the day for us to finish up on?
Oh, I think the favourite moment, I think, I can't stop talking about this, but Ashtu with the tyres. He got 26 laps. I think that was the best moment, but I think driver of the day, even though I would give it to Bjorn, I think I'm going to have to give this to turn 4 and 5. They just absolutely shown us an absolute masterclass on how difficult that corner is. You thought it'd be turn 8, but no, for these drivers, it's turn 4 and 5.
Yeah. So how will the Tier 2 drivers get on tomorrow? You'll have to wait and see, because of course it will be ARL and Björn de Boer who will be commentating on that event. I'm sure it'll be a grand old time. But from YB, it's good night and goodbye.
Good night, everyone.
And from me, Jack TM53, it's good night as well. And wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one. And we'll see you tomorrow for Tier 2 action here at Spielberg.